As a man, there are many brutal truths about life that you come to realize as you continue to age, and many of them are crucial to fully accept and internalize in order to unlock your full potential and live the best life that you can. So in this video, I want to talk about some of those truths that have stood out to me throughout my life and how to mentally process those things in order to live a better life. The first truth is that life is essentially one big mind game. And what I mean is that most of your life will be spent battling yourself and your internal state. We are constantly tested by our own mind and self-control throughout life, and our mind is where the control center resides. Anything that is in our control can only be controlled by a mindset that is disciplined and in control emotionally, and this can literally be anything. If you're a person who struggles with your weight, you will be tested by your mind tempting you to eat the foods that you know you shouldn't. If drugs and alcohol are a problem, the cravings for those substances will arise in your mind, and usually at times where you feel weakest. If you struggle with women, your mind will torment you and say that you're a failure for not being able to get girls or failing yet again. If you're broke, your mind will try to hone in on the fact that other people around you or on social media are doing so much better than you and that you're way behind at your age and you're a failure. Depending on these areas that are more challenging for you, these are the types of mind games that go on throughout your life, and especially in your younger years as you're developing into a man and trying to establish your independence and sense of self in the world. But the empowering side of this is that it puts a lot of things back into control as you learn to develop your mind and you become a mentally stronger version of yourself. There are plenty of things out of our control in this world, which I'll talk more about in a second, but some things are in our control, but only if your mindset is working for you and not against you. When you simplify things and you start to realize that a majority of life is a battle against self, it allows you to simultaneously take more agency and control over your life and gain a sense of self-control that many things are simply left up to how you respond to them and how badly you want to change your habits. Outside uncontrollable influences can be a factor, but the results you get in life are largely controlled by the internal victories and losses that we establish in our mind. This is a truth that should be empowering in the sense that you should be inspired to not allow your own mind to defeat you and instead be motivated to try and win as many of those battles as you can, because you are in control of your mind and body, not the other way around. Now, another thing you're in control of is your skincare, which is why I'm excited to have Tiege Hanley as the sponsor of today's video. Like most guys, I used to think that just washing my face with some soap and a scrub was enough, but the truth is that many soaps and body washes can actually harm the sensitive skin on your face. And over time, I became more interested in skincare, but all the skincare options just seemed overwhelming and confusing. But the Tiege Hanley system addresses that perfectly by making it simple to follow a step-by-step system that includes an easy-to-understand instruction card in every box. They tell you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order, and that takes all the guesswork out of it. And for someone like me who does jujitsu, maintaining even moderately clear skin is really tough with all the sweat and bacteria that causes breakouts, but the products from Tiege have made a noticeable difference for me. I've noticed that some of the inflammation in certain areas of my skin has come down, mainly around my eyes because I usually get a lot of breakouts there from jujitsu, and I've noticed that my skin feels softer, specifically under my eyes. And I've had a few women even make comments about my complexion, and one even mentioned that I had a glow to my skin lately. And if women are taking notice of your skin, you know you're onto something that works. And if you're new to skincare, I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, and a moisturizer for morning and night. And the morning moisturizer already has SPF 20 in it too, so you don't need a separate product to protect your skin from the sun, which is nice. In addition to having great skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, access to exclusive monthly deals, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. So click the first link in the description or in the pinned comment and you'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. So don't miss out on this amazing deal and click that link and get started today. Now, this next truth is one that most people do not take seriously enough until it is gone, which in itself is another harsh truth about life, that we often don't appreciate what we have until it is gone or taken from us by force, and health is one of the biggest ones of all. I have personal experience with this one as someone who suffered from a really bad case of neuroborreliosis, also known as late-stage Lyme disease. I used to do a lot of hiking and camping and also walk my dogs in grassy fields, and somewhere along the line I got bitten by a tick that I don't remember seeing, because oftentimes people who get Lyme disease don't ever show any signs of a tick bite. But what I did feel were the symptoms that hit like a firestorm straight out of hell itself. Literally overnight, I went from being a seemingly healthy 17-year-old to waking up to debilitating symptoms in the middle of the night that would go on for years and years and nearly kill me at one point. Just within the first few months, I had lost over 40 pounds in a month and I had over 100 symptoms on the list, and I was bedridden with no hope in sight. And it took years of heavy antibiotic treatment plus a holistic focus on my health to get myself to a mostly functional point again. And to this day, I have residual effects and cognitive issues. And even right now as I film this video, I don't feel 100%, but that is the fallout from a brutal disease. Now, not everyone will battle Lyme disease or something like that, although many people are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed according to experts in the field. But many people will and are suffering from health issues, both physical and mental, and that prevents them from living the life that they want to live or should be living. And honestly, this is one of those areas that I don't talk about a lot because it's extremely difficult to convey to someone who hasn't lost a significant part of their health before. It's one of those things where a healthy person who hasn't had any health issues in their life will just nod their head and be like, oh wow, I understand. But you don't truly understand until you're in the abyss yourself and you've lost your health. And I wouldn't wish health issues on my worst enemy, let alone anyone watching this. So I urge you to take this truth about life very seriously and make it your life's goal to optimize your health the best that you can to prevent suffering. If you don't have your health, you don't have much of anything at all because of how difficult it is to focus on anything else when you're in that state of suffering. On the flip side, losing your health will also teach you gratitude for even the smallest things in life. I personally came to a point where even being able to walk outside and smell the fresh air became the highlight of my day. But again, we often don't know what we have until it is taken from us, and health is at the top of that list. So do everything you can to take care of it before it's too late. And branching off that point, another truth about life is that you only improve and become better in the painful times. There isn't much growth to be had when everything is going perfectly and things are easy. It is always the hard times in life where I had my biggest epiphanies or wake-up calls that gave me the information or realization that I needed to change things and grow as a person. You essentially need to frame challenges in life as an opportunity, which can be difficult for most people. Many people will view pain and difficult scenarios as an overwhelming obstacle that is meant to tear them down and halt their progress in life. But in order to live up to your full potential in life, you have to reframe those times and understand that they are opportunities for you to use that resistance to build a better version of you, just like how someone would use weights in the gym to build a bigger muscle. And pain can come in many forms. Pain can come from endless rejections from women. Pain can come from looking at your body in the mirror and being unhappy with how you look. Pain can come from losing a good friend or a family member. Pain can come from having dream after dream not come true and always feeling like you're failing or behind in life. And there's just so many versions of pain in this life that it would be impossible to name them all. But there is usually some element of a silver lining in all of these situations that you can use to better yourself in some way or help another person. And look, let me be clear, there is an unfathomable amount of pain that some people go through in this life, like someone losing a child, for example. So I'm not going to pretend to understand everyone's situation and everyone's pain. I know firsthand that life can deliver pain like you cannot believe, and there's always someone worse off than you, and everyone's situation is different. However, as long as we are alive, the only thing we can do is to keep pressing on and to try to use the pain of our situation as fuel to try and make ourselves and the world a better place. The other option is to give up and quit, but in my opinion, that is a bad option to choose because your experiences and the lessons you learn within your times of suffering can help another person in need, and that is what life is mostly about at the end of the day. It's fun to accomplish goals for the sake of our own success, but real satisfaction comes from helping the man or woman next to you who is in need, and the lessons that you learn in the midst of pain allow you to do just that, but only if you choose to. Now, speaking of the man or woman next to you, this next one could be a whole separate video in itself, and maybe I'll make a video on this because it's such an important factor to internalize in life, and it can take time to do so. And what I'm referring to is the truth that you simply cannot please everyone in this life, nor should you even try to. And this can be a huge hang-up for a lot of people that prevents them from attempting the thing that they really want to do in life, or developing themselves into a better version of themselves out of fear. Since I talk about dating a lot on this channel, a classic example is a guy being afraid to talk to a girl because she might think that he's weird, or the people around her might think that he's a creep. But there's also other scenarios like someone who is afraid to disappoint their parents, or choose another career path that they don't like, or someone who is afraid to start that YouTube channel because their friends might laugh at them, or people online won't like their videos and will leave hate comments. Or maybe you want to dress a certain way, but the culture and the people around you would give you a hard time for it. There's a ton of situations in life where caring about other people's opinions to an unhealthy level can directly hold you back from the experiences that you want to have or are curious about. And it is a sneaky yet highly destructive mental pattern to fall into. And we've all heard the advice to not care about what other people think, but it's another thing to actually internalize that on a level that allows you to act without fear. Some people are naturally like this and genuinely do not care what others think about them, but not everyone has that ability, and it's something that has to be developed, and mainly by simply taking action. And again, this is one of those areas where mind games against yourself comes into play. However, the truth is that those who criticize you are typically the people that wish they had the balls to do what you're doing, or the self-esteem to actually express themselves in a way that is more authentic to how they truly feel. I have a reel on my Instagram with that David Goggins quote that says that you'll never meet a hater that is doing better than you. And it's more than just a feel-good quote on the internet. It's actually very true. The people that are actually succeeding and doing something in life will often encourage you to make the moves that you want to and to keep pushing forward even in the face of resistance. But the naysayers and critics are always the people that aren't doing the thing, or the ones that are too scared to attempt that thing. Or they're the people that gave up doing that thing and now they just sit back and talk trash as a spectator while you're actually in the arena taking the risk. Many people in life are miserable and they project their regrets or fears onto you through hate and criticism. And it's important to recognize when this is happening so that you can decipher whether it's constructive criticism, which can be helpful in some cases, or just outright negativity designed to box you into a way of living that suits what they want rather than what you want. And when it comes to strangers, whether it be in real life or on the internet, some people will just simply hate you for existing, and you can't do anything to change that, so it's not worth trying. The better option is to use it as fuel to keep pressing forward until you get to where you're trying to go. And it's also important to understand that anytime you try to go to a new level in life, you're going to run into new levels of resistance. New level, new devil is a saying that comes to mind, and it's true. But remember that other people's opinions cannot stop you from where you're trying to go. And because of that, they cannot hold more weight in your mind over what you want out of life. And to clarify, I'm not saying to go do a bunch of risky or dangerous stuff and rebel against good advice or warnings from other people. But I am saying to be true to yourself and understand that you're the one that has to live every day in your body, and you're the one that has to live with the decisions that you make or don't make. And allowing others' negativity to impact that is a waste of precious time on this planet. Which leads me to my next point, and it's a brutal truth that we are all aware of as human beings. And that is the truth that we will die one day and the end is coming. Each day we get older and each day we get closer to the time expiring on our life's clock. And you can either process that thought as something negative that brings you down, or you can use it for fuel to live the best life that you can while you can. Urgency and time limits tend to create more results than allowing a person to do things on their own time. And if someone puts a gun to your head right now and says that you have 90 days to figure out how to lose 20 pounds, or they're gonna pull the trigger, you'll figure out how to lose the 20 pounds. And you can replace that with any goal. But what usually happens instead is people will put their goal off year after year and think to themselves, oh, I'll just do it another time, or I'll eventually get to that. They essentially get caught in a loop of short-term gratification rather than having a long-term vision of the bigger picture that is occurring in life, which is the fact that you have limited time to do what you want to do, and you and I may not even be here tomorrow. And this isn't just about your own goals either. There are many people on this planet that need help, and there's only so much time on the clock. This concept shouldn't feel morbid to you or depressing, and if it does, you likely need to spend more time coming to terms with reality and understanding how to harness it to your advantage, or spending more time nurturing your spiritual health, or maybe even something like therapy if that helps you. But processing the idea of mortality is highly individual, and each person will have their own way of going about it. You shouldn't develop a morbid obsession with this topic, but it should be something that fuels you in times where you want to give up or avoid the thing that you know you should be doing. For example, if you're stuck hesitating to approach a girl, just do it, because we'll all be dead in 80 years anyway, so who cares? That mental framework of realizing that I'll be gone one day has helped push me to do a lot of things that I hesitated to do in the past. And again, this doesn't mean that you should ponder death all day or that you should be reckless or blatantly stupid just because you only live once or whatever. You should still live with obvious intelligence and caution to respect your life and your health. But it does mean that the finality of life should encourage you to do more living instead of being stuck in your head, wondering, pondering, and living in fear of what you'd actually like to do. The Stoics talked about this with memento mori, which essentially means remember that you are a human and you will die one day. And King Solomon referenced this thousands of years ago in the Bible as well. I haven't read every ancient text in the world, but I'd be willing to bet that most mention the finality of our lives as something to keep in mind. And one more disclaimer I want to make on this is that I'm not one of those guys that says to work 24 hours a day and never take a break or have any mindless mindless fun. I think rest and doing things just for the sake of fun and enjoyment is highly important. So don't think that I'm saying you should just ponder your death all the time and grind yourself into dust because time is running out. But I am saying to understand that we realistically have an unknown window of time to do what we want to do and to help other people in need. So acting with haste and some urgency is critical because time is just never guaranteed. And this next one is another truth that needs careful consideration in order to understand it correctly and use it for fuel rather than negativity that brings you down. And this is the idea that you can do everything right in some scenarios and still fail for reasons that are out of your control. You can have the perfect resume and they still might choose someone else for the job. You can look like a Greek god and have amazing game with a girl and she can choose another guy over you. You can put in the extra hours at work and still not get the promotion because the boss chose someone else. You can train hard all year and still get submitted in a jiu-jitsu tournament or knocked out in a Muay Thai fight. There's simply things that are out of your control past a certain point. And let me be clear, I'm a person that is all about having self-agency and taking responsibility first and foremost. I always look to see what I could have done better to influence the outcome of a situation, and I typically take too much of the blame rather than too little. And by taking too much of the blame in some scenarios, it led me to this revelation. It's important to understand that there's a delicate balance in life between pushing yourself to excellence, but also being nice to yourself and realizing when things are just simply out of your control. There's no use in beating yourself up when something was out of your hands, but that doesn't mean to use that as an excuse either. Again, this is one of those concepts that takes careful consideration to balance correctly, but there is a harsh truth in life that you can do it all right on paper, but still come up short. There's no formula for success for anything in life, and a lot of things are left up to chance, timing, and luck. But you increase your chances of experiencing good fortune by putting consistent work in and putting yourself in situations where luck and timing has a chance to work in your favor. So to sum up this point, realize that you can't control every outcome, even with all the self-improvement and optimizations in the world. Some things are just simply out of your control, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue to try or that there isn't a lesson to learn that will change the outcome next time. But it does mean that you have to take it easy on yourself sometimes when you've done everything you can in your power to ensure success, but things simply didn't pan out. But at the same time, be honest with yourself, and if you actually did do all the work to ensure success, and be careful to not deceive yourself with excuses. Now, with all that said, be sure to check out Teach Hanley by clicking the first link in the description of the video in the pinned comment, and thank you to Teach Hanley for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. And before you go, make sure you watch this video next, and I will see you in the next one.